What's up, guys? We are all back from E3 2014. It is late, I know, you're tired, but you know what? We got more interviews for you. One of the games that I was most excited to see get into the show was Homefront the Revolution. As somebody who really wanted the first Homefront to be a lot better than it was, seeing the folks at Crytek work with the folks at Deep Silver, I'm really excited to check out this game. And we got to interview some people from Crytek and get the lowdown on what to expect as the revolution takes hold in Philadelphia. The KPA has occupied Philadelphia. Will the Liberty Bell ring for freedom, or will we all bow down to Kim Jong-un? A lot of guerrilla warfare, some really cool stuff. Check out the interview, and as always, this interview is brought to you by Gunner Optics. If you want to buy that, check down below. You buy these, you can pre-order the game. I have all this stuff in the notes for you because I'm a giver. Enjoy the interview, and I'll see you guys soon. Sitting to my right is Mr. David Stenton from Crytek, and we're going to talk about the guerrilla warfare that leads to a rebirth, the revolution in Philadelphia. What are we looking forward to with Homefront the Revolution?
So I think one of the things that we're really excited about is kind of getting back to our DNA at Crytek and really kind of harking back to those games like Far Cry and Crysis. And to that extent, we're kind of going free roam with our version of Philadelphia. So Homefront the Revolution is set in this brutally occupied Philadelphia, and it's a game world that we kind of want to put the player in and really let them kind of spend the time exploring it and interacting with the civilians and this brutal KPA occupation. And like you said, it's about kind of igniting the resistance and seeing that play out through the course of the game.
Now it's set 4 years after the original occupation. The KPA and their superior technology have kind of locked everybody down, and you're not a super soldier coming in with a flight suit ready to kill everyone. This is very much, you're a citizen, you believe in igniting a revolution, and you're using a lot of guerrilla warfare tactics. What specifically on the guerrilla side do we kind of look at? During the demo, some of the gameplay that we saw an RC car combining things with an IED to blow up a door to make access. It seems like it's fighting technology with human smarts.
Yeah.
So what are the kind of things that on the guerrilla warfare side that we can look forward to?
So like you kind of touched on, one of the big things that we're kind of pushing is this idea of your guerrilla toolkit. So in this kind of asymmetric setup where the KPA are in total control, and you as an everyman, as a US citizen, you really don't have access to that kind of technology. So it's very much about doing whatever you can to try and even the odds against the KPA. And one of the big things to do that is the guerrilla toolkit. You mentioned a couple of examples there. You've got the RC car that you can use to scope out kind of enemy installations and get an eye on it ahead of time, and then other examples you can kind of combine ingredients to craft improvised explosive devices, and then there are obviously kind of many more examples of that, and then you can combine these items in different ways as well. And it's very much about kind of taking a step back, looking at these kind of setups, looking at this occupation, and really choosing the best tools I think that fit at the time. So, and that kind of ties in with that sandbox approach that we're talking about, trying to get back to that Crytek DNA, really observing the game world and, trying to strike in the way that you see fit as a player.
And it seemed like one of the big things was, I believe it was your cell phone that was providing intel to people on the back end and a lot of things along those lines. Now, is that's your hub? And from there, is that how you're coordinating everything with all of your teammates and things along those lines?
So yeah, you do use your smartphone for quite a few different things. One of the things to say about the smartphone, kind of in keeping with the fiction of the game, is that this is like a stolen Korean smartphone. So it's got kind of resistance software kind of loaded onto it, so you can use it to kind of subvert KPA technology. You can use it to like hack into their systems. So we're kind of very much about the resistance, certainly in the early parts of the game, should be very much about kind of nuts and bolts, not so much kind of high-tech solutions to things, but over the course of the game, obviously, as your means to counteract the occupation expand, then yeah, you can subvert their tech, you can take control of their drones, You can hack their systems and computer terminals. It also serves as things like your mission log, with it being a free roam game. You've got multiple missions on the go at any given time. You've got the kind of the area map, so yeah, it does tie into quite a few different elements.
Now, awesome. And now, as somebody that is very much an East Coast guy, Philadelphia is chosen as the center of this battle. Is it based around the thoughts of the Liberty Bell?
It's very much based around Philadelphia being an iconic location for independence, and it's the KPA choosing Philadelphia as their capital for the occupied United States is kind of iconic because it shows within this kind of extreme fiction, within this worst case scenarios, America's invaded and occupied. And it really shows how far America's fallen in that situation, you know, that the KPA have chosen that of any city as their capital. But it's also relevant because if you're going to ignite the revolution in any city, if there's going to be resistance in any city, it would be Philadelphia surely that would rise up. So it's a really interesting kind of cool backdrop for our game.
Fantastic. And now using the CryEngine on the newest generation of technology, this is coming to PlayStation 4, the Xbox One, PC, Linux, and Mac.
Yeah.
Getting into the CryEngine and using those things, are there things that you've been able to do and build that you weren't able to do before?
I mean, this game absolutely is about pushing CryEngine. We have quite a good R&D, quite a good sized R&D team within the Nottingham studio, and they're really pushing CryEngine, and we're always kind of building on it. So this game, with us kind of going back to that kind of free roam heritage, we're really pushing the technology there for kind of play spaces, and we're really pushing the AI systems with the civilian population and the KPA occupation. We've got real-time kind of dynamic weather and time of day. So yeah, there's lots of different kind of avenues that we're pushing CryEngine in ways that it's not been pushed before.
Now this is a hell of an IP. Now when everything was going on with THQ, did you guys just see this and say, this is what we want to work on? This is something, like you said, that brings you back to your roots. This is something that you guys went out and got. And when you were kind of choosing to go after this, was it with that vision in mind?
Yeah, I mean, we were actually working with THQ for a while, before we acquired the rights to the IP, and when kind of THQ went down, unfortunately, but that was a good opportunity for us to kind of stop and kind of take a step back and say, well, this is a good opportunity, right? Like, it is a really interesting premise. It's a really compelling premise that kind of turning the established narrative on its head, so that you're fighting in your own backyard and fighting for your freedom and for your liberty and for your families, rather than kind of being maybe a globe-trotting soldier, special forces soldier, like fighting for a paycheck. So yeah, there were definitely elements to the premise that were definitely attracted us, and we're kind of taking that and running with it, and kind of really rebooting it in our own form.
And how awesome is it to hook up with Deep Silver as they kind of expand and start to take over the industry? After THQ went down, Deep Silver's really kind of stepped up. So how awesome has it been to kind of combine forces with them?
Yeah, it's really good. I mean, their brand manager Hugh is so behind the game. It's really nice to work with people that are so excited to work on Homefront Revolution, and so yeah, it's a really good experience for us.
Fantastic. Coming in 2015, it is Homefront the Revolution. The Liberty Bell will ring for freedom. Check it out, and early, I'm feeling like this is definitely my game of the show.
Thank you.
E3 2014, we will be back with more.